But what we'll do is we'll just pop the box open, because I know everyone just wants to have a look at the motherboard, because that's really what it all comes down to. So this is the board. Now, it is very subtle, it's very understated, it's quite clean lines. Obviously, when you think about the price, it does kind of explain it when we've only got 6 phases around the actual CPU itself. But if anything's taught me anything recently, is that when it comes to power phases and the last 2 generations of 1150 CPUs, there's generally not a lot between any of the boards performance wise. When we were reviewing the Z98 stuff, nothing from the ITX boards, even up to the £350 boards, you couldn't pick between them. So it's really about the aesthetics on the boards themselves and the stuff that gets bundled with them. Now there is no separate audio-y section down the sides. There's no like massive bells and whistles. We do have M.2 on here. We do have USB 3. We do have the SATA Express. So it's all the Z97 stuff. When we come around the back of the board, again, it's really nice and simple. We've got a HDMI there, the DVI, normal VGA. Got 4 USB 3s, 2 USB 2s. Good old keyboard and mouse up here. So this all actually does help with overclockers. We have got the audio ports around the back as well, but there's no all singing, all dancing stuff. If you have a look with at the chips and stuff like that, it's I'm not going to say it's cheap, but they've kept the price down. They've kept things simple. We do have 2 PCI Express with the old white, with a good double slot between them as well, which will help for SLI and Crossfire. They do say it's the SLI edition. One thing I will show you, which is on the box, is that it does have the Crossfire badge on there as well. We can also see while we're here the military class 4 components, overclock Genie 4, does support 4K, then it's got the old command center bit on here as well. When we come down, we can have a look at the specs. It does say 8 channel 7.1 HD audio system, but it doesn't give us any specifics about it. And you can see the other bits and bobs out there as well. So really with this board, it all comes down to horrifically aggressive pricing and those really nice subtle looks. And if we bring the screenshot up, you can see it's introduced stylish motherboard, perfect for case modders, which is, the black and white is something that we've wanted for a long time. People have tried to do the black and white motherboards. I think this is kind of the perfect mix of getting the white on there without there being too much of it. So they've got a nice bit of contrast on there. Then, something new for the case mod community. MSI are throwing these out at case modders left, right and centre to try and get things done. I think at this price they've probably missed a little bit of a trick, because I think people are going to want to fall over themselves to go and buy them. Even for little weekend projects, you know, just stuff to do, to be able to create. I think people are going to love it personally, because I'm already a fan of it. Another thing that we do need to think about is it matches perfectly with a lot of kit that's out there already. Cases, cables, memory, solid state drives, power supplies, fans. There's so much white kit out there, and there has been for an age as well, because I'm personally a bit of a white freak. So being a bit of a white freak, I thought I had better get a load of the bits I had easily to hand to kind of show you, maybe to give you a little bit of inspiration about stuff that you can do. Now the case by the side of me is the S340 by NZXT. I reviewed it recently, and it was probably robbed of a white gold award because of the slots at the back. But it does come with the replaceable slots in the back on the retail versions. This was actually a tooling sample and I hadn't been told about it. But anyway, so this case, if you were thinking about using this, because let's bear in mind that the motherboard is going to be about 90 quid. So we're going to assume that this is going to be not necessarily a cheap build, but something that you don't necessarily want to spend an awful lot on it. There is a budget there. It's not for those of you out there that are Rothschilds, you know, brought up on Arabian oil money and that type of stuff. So this case is $59.99 in the UK. You can get an AIO in the front. You can get a couple of solid state drives in, the panels in the bottom already to hide your power supply. and it does come in black and white, which is kind of handy. So if we have a look, we've got, I've put some HyperX memory in there already. This is the HyperX Fury. It's obviously the DDR3 stuff because we've got it in the Krait. Now they do it in black and white as well, so that was kind of a no-brainer to show you that off. Obviously with the H100i, you can get the SP120 fans where you can change the rings, but if you wanted LED fans, you could obviously use the SP120 LEDs because they do come in white as well. There's an infinite amount of options when it comes to fans really, but something that I did want to show you is just recently the boys at Parvum have released their new fans, and they're the F10s apparently. Now these, if I show you an up-close picture, they've got the outside bit where the colour is all rubbery and it's all lovely. And then you've got the separate contrasting ring on the inside, which if I show you here, is actually kind of the actual frame. But these are brilliant radiator and heatsink fans. And like I said, they've just sent me those recently. These are available at Overclockers if you were thinking about getting these. But the reason why I wanted to show you these is because of the black and white colour and the high contrast between the two. Rather than just having a white fan or a black fan, you've got a bit of both on this, which kind of matches this rig really well. So I think the boys are going to know that I'm going to need a few extra of these, so I can show you those. We did show you the HyperX, but you can still get these, and these you can pick them up for so cheap now. The low profile Corsair Vengeance, and these do come in black and white as well. These are 1600 megahertz, and I think these you can get them for around 40 odd quid now. So, you know, if you just wanted to chuck the white ones in there to have a bit of white on the board to kind of have that extra bit more, you can do. Now, this may seem a bit overkill because I reviewed this recently, and it's the Superflower Titanium. Sorry, the Superflower LeadX Platinum. Now this is 1200 watts, but they do smaller models. But I happen to know that Overclockers, within the next month or so, hopefully, they should have a 650 watt model coming in. Now this for 1200 watts was 180 quid. So I would like to think that the 650 watt would be below £100. So this could be perfect. Now it would be a shame in this case because the ends of this all light up. And obviously you've got a white power supply, but you're not necessarily going to be using the exact same kit that I'm using here. You might decide that you want to use a black case or a different white case, because obviously there are loads of options out there. One off the top of my head that I personally really like is the Nanoxia DS1. They do a lovely white case, big window. They've got a little chimney in the top that you can raise and put down. Good air, good dust filtering in it. It's something that I've personally reviewed, and that's a very good price as well. I think it's around the £70–80 mark. So you can pick one of those up quite cheaply in white, and this could come into play. One thing I will say though is that if you're going to do a black and white build, it's perfect to have white LEDs in it, because obviously the white LEDs will pick up all the white in the case and really bring it out against that black and make it pop. So if you get your lighting right in one of these, you can make it epic as well. Now, obviously, this is a very kind of out there video to the type of stuff that I've been doing on here recently, but I think that the Krait is immensely well priced, because to be fair, I was expecting it to be more expensive than the pre-order on the website I was talking about recently. I was expecting this to come in around the 120, 125 mark. So for MSI to be marketing this at £90, it kind of goes to show you that they are trying to make stuff like this. I'm not going to say, well, it's more available to everyone. They could easily just go with the black and white bandwagon and chuck an extra like 20 or 30 quid on it, and we probably wouldn't have known any different, and we probably would have liked it just as much. So for the fact that they have gone for that aggressive pricing, it wins big kind of TTL thumbs up points on me. Just goes to show that they are trying to bend the rules a little bit, because it is the first proper black and white motherboard to come to market, and I personally think it's a really bold choice. I like the fact that it's not, they've not gone over the top with the black and white. It's quite subtle, but it just makes those little white accents that they've put on there stand out that little bit more. And it also means that for the modders, for the end users, it means you can add your own white bits to it without it looking too gary. Like you've seen with the HyperX memory there, fits right in, looks amazing. If that Corsair badge had lit up white, that would have looked amazing. One thing I will say though, and this is a personal point of view, this doesn't go with everybody else, but a lot of people do keep sending me links to and telling me about like the HOF cards with the white PCBs. I'm personally not a great fan of those. I think that's a little bit of a step too far. Black PCB with a nice, you know, white detailing on the heatsink or something, I think is enough. I think if you put a big slab of white in there, it would be a little bit too much. And I've not seen one at all, motherboard wise or graphics card wise, that I've really liked yet. But it is always down to personal preference. If it's something that you like, epic. I'm just giving my own personal views across about that. It's just not for me. But hopefully I've given you some good ideas with this. You will be seeing a full review in the not too distant future. It's probably going to be getting yomped on the test bench towards the end of this week, so you can expect a full review maybe a couple of weeks later. And then you may even get to see it get used in stuff after that. But for now at least, this is Tiny Tom Logan with another video for you. Out. Ding!